It's day 89, for real day 89. I said that yesterday, but I was mistaken. I'm mistaken a lot about numbers. Anyway, it's about 10 minutes before the show starts, the calm before the storm. I've been using a lot of cliches. Hi, talking about gravy and things like that. Anyway, I was able to return that Zord I got yesterday, the puncher that didn't work. He gave me a refund, no problem, he apologized, but I don't have one now. So, bummer, but I did save some money. All right, let me get to my table. So it's 11:15. They opened at 10 today, although they opened a few minutes early, and it's slow. It's slow here. We're at the other end, not near the entrance where the celebrities are. The celebrities being the woman who played Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family, the original one, not Christina Ricci. She was here yesterday, she's here again today, but today only is Sam Jones, who played Flash Gordon in the 80s and was in the Ted movies. So there was a gigantic line over by him, and then those that weren't in the line were near the shops near him. So I took a walk, as I said, I got the refund, and I got these two kind of junkers. This actually was part of a thing called Artillotron. It's a whole big thing. It was busted, it was sun damaged, but I wanted this arm because it doubles as a gun for a robot I have. Then I also got this car, which is not normally my thing, but this is from Turbo Ranger, which is a Sentai, so cool. Meanwhile, farts are funny. Oh, what a reveal. Hi, it's me. Still at my booth. It's 1:45, and art sales have been slow. Again, I already made tables, so that's fine. I sold one comic and a print. The person who bought the print was happy because they were here, dragged along to the toy show, and on End of Toys were happy to find a piece of art they liked, so that was good for everybody. And I brought a couple toys along, and those have actually been selling better than the art, which is disheartening as an artist, but as a business person, is good that I'm getting money. So thanks, people that bought it that aren't watching this. It is still day 2 of the convention, and wow, I'm framed badly. Hi. It's about 1:30, we've got about 2 hours left, give or take, and then the breakdown and cartway takes place. The breakdown won't be as bad this time as some other shows, but I'm not looking forward to carting everything back to the car. I'm gonna have to do more than one trip, and I'm just tired. Yeah. And that's it. That's the end of Santa Clara, San Jose Super Toy Show Day 2. I am walking back to the car. People packed up really quick. Nobody packed up early, but when it was time to go, it was like not like a Comic-Con. I was like, boom, done, we're out of here. And I guess because there's less creative people trying to get their pitch out or getting their comic in the hands, and it's more just making money. I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm talking on my behind. Wow, look over here. Right across the street, there's like a farmer's market. Right next door, there was an exotic bird thing, and I think there's some school event here. This is just like the nexus of everything that's happening today. Anyway, I'm walking back to the car. I parked a few blocks away to get free parking, which is what I've done each time. It's usually fine. This morning, when I was carrying a huge box of toys, it was less fine. I was going to the car, drop off a few things and my backpack, and gonna pick up the hand truck and bring it all the way back. But then it occurred to me, oh no, I can move my car and get close. But I came dangerously close to just walking back with a hand cart like 3 blocks like an idiot. So yeah, it won't be as bad packing up and getting out of here as I was remembering. So I'm gonna go do that. Okay, bye.
When we wind down and close up and go home, lovely, we're all done. We're no longer friends.
Come on, buddy.
It's time to go home.
Well, I brought the horror standee out the car. I also got my hand truck full of almost everything. So it's with the standee, it's now a 2-trip thing, even with my new hand truck cart thing. Except I have a box of toys, and Alex wants to borrow the hand cart, which is great because after I packed up my car, I fit the hand truck in and put away the bungee cord and locked it and started walking back in. Then realized I had to turn around, undo that, and grab the hand cart because I am a special kind of stupid, the kind that sings about how he's dumb. Next to people like this, guys, I'm dumb. Yeah, they don't care that I'm singing that I'm dumb. They really don't. Yes, feet. Swing free. Free feet. Wow, as empty as it looks in front of me, it's even more empty behind me. And it's emptier still in here. My tear ducts, because I never cry. It took longer than I thought to get out of the show. It ended at 3:30, but it's after 5:30 now, and I just drove a few minutes down the road to get pizza for dinner, because yes, That's how we end the day, with pizza, sure. Well, hey, I'm back. I've been back for a little while. It's 9. It's not that late, but it feels late for me because I, once again, did not get enough sleep last night. I got closer to 5 hours, which is not as bad, but having gotten only 4 the night before and running around and doing things, it's not a good energy level to have. Nevertheless, I'm not as burned as I was yesterday, probably also because it's earlier. I have to do my 30 minutes. I'm about to do that now. The show today was worse than yesterday, by far, in terms of art sales. I had a few. I sold a book and I sold a couple prints, and but not much. But I brought that box of toys, and I did sell a fair amount of toys. So if I hadn't sold any toys between yesterday and today, I would have only done slightly better than the last show I did, which was only 1 day. Which brings me to the, and with the standee too, the standee was great, but didn't really do a lot for the table. And I think that's due to the type of show it is, because it's not a comic show, so people aren't looking for that regardless of if I standee or not. A few people commented that it was cool, but overall they either were interested in my stuff and hey, cool standee, or they just weren't interested. It wasn't bringing people there. And like I said, the last time I did this show, I definitely had prints up front and center and nobody was really noticing my comic. This time I had my comic up front and center. I had 1 standing up, I had 3 laying here, I had 3 up here, I had the horror behind me, I had a print up, and when people would come up, no matter what else they were looking at, I'd be like, yeah, this is my art, here's my comic. And once again, most of them didn't want to pick it up, and the few that did are like, oh, you know, like, so I definitely did my due diligence pushing the comic more at the exact same show that I didn't do it 3 months ago. And I just think it's not a good show to sell comics. I think it's better for selling prints, but it's still not a great show for art. And this is what I said last time, where it's a toy show primarily, the comics secondarily, but not comics like independent comics, but like, hey, do you have the first appearance of Venom? You know, like people looking for older issues, key issues, as they say. That all being said, once I brought the toys, and I'm glad I did, because it was stuff I planned on eBaying eventually anyway, and it was just, oh, I got rid of some toys, made the money I wanted to make, and it was easier, quicker. Now, I did have to pay the table fee, and that's the thing, with the table fee, when I sell art, there's a certain investment, material-wise, but most of it's time-wise. So, for the most part, when I cover table, I'm basically profitable. But with toys, there's an investment in the toys. So, if I only had toys, I have to make even more to make profit, you know, because I have to cover the table and the cost of what I paid, then whatever, unless I'm just trying to get my money back, but whatever. I'm getting on a side tangent. I booked a table for the next show in 3 months in December. Now, my buddy Alex the Big Dog, who I'd split it with both times, is not going to be available to split it. So I'm going to get one myself. Here's what I'm going to do though. I'm going to set it up very similar to how it was this time, except I'm going to be by myself. I mean, maybe somebody will come with me to keep me company, but I'm paying for the table for myself. I'm vending myself. I'm going to have my art stuff set up for prints, but I'm going to have a bunch of toys behind me and on the side. The idea being, I should be able to make a table with my art. And that will sort of cover all my costs. And then I could also sell toys that will let me make some money. And at the same time, I'll get some art out there. A couple people might pick up the comic or the horror or whatever. And I could shop possibly in the morning and at night. I don't know how well that's going to go. It's kind of an experiment. If it goes well, maybe that'll be what I'll do from now on, and you know, he'll have to get his own table or whatever. If it doesn't go well, I might go back to splitting the table. I might stop tabling. It's tough because it's a local show, it's easy to go to, and I like going to it anyway. So like I said before, I want to make it profitable. I want to make it not just profitable, but get my work out there more, but I just don't know if it's the show I could do that at. However, I do have a lot of toys. I don't always, but right now I could easily fill a table with toys I want to get rid of. So I'll do that at least once right before Christmas, so that's a good time too. But that's in the future. And right now in the present. Oh, one other thing that happened today is I actually got interviewed. I got interviewed a handful of times at shows. I mean, I've done a few podcasts and things like that, but at shows occasionally someone like, hey, can I take a picture? Oh, what's your name? What's this? And they write it down. Or let me film you with my iPhone or whatever. And most of the time, if not all the time, I never see it. Occasionally, there's like 1 or 2 podcasts that they've mentioned me, but not like interviewed me or whatever, or talked about my comic, you know. So people have said nice things and included me. I'm not complaining about that. But often I'll, you know, they'll film me and I'll be like, hey, I'm Gaz, and do something stupid and, you know, talk about my comic. And I'll be like, okay, cool, here's my card. Let me know when it goes up. And I never hear about it. It might have gone up. I don't know, because I don't know what channel it is or who they are. However, I got interviewed today, and I do know the channel because they subscribe to my Instagram. So when I get a link to that, assuming I get a link to it, if it goes up, I will have a link, whether they send it to me or not. I will put it up so you all can enjoy it too. It seemed a little bit more pro because it was like a 3-person crew and they had a nice camera and whatever. And that's when the standee really came into play, because I was standing there and I had a wall prints and my standee. So if they framed it correctly, it should look awesome. But anyway, I gotta get to work on the horror, and then we will talk again later when I'm more tired. Oh, hi. Done. Over 30 minutes, less than an hour, somewhere in the middle there. what's happening on the page, the digital page, that is. Let's find out! Working on panel 4, the final panel of page 13, issue 2 of the Horror A4, my independent kaiju comic. Those are done, well, pencils anyway, and she was done. I actually blew her up bigger and moved her out a bit more because I wanted her to be far enough away from the explosion that she wasn't being hurt, whereas these people would be being hurt. But the thumbnail sketch I had was not really telling the story clearly. I don't know if you can see here, actually, let me make those disappear, and that, and that. So this works, but it didn't really follow the flow I had built here, so I had to change things around a little because there's a building here, etc. And so I've been noodling with making that work, and this is where I'm at right now. I'm not totally satisfied with it. I even started laying this stuff in, and I'm checking the perspective. Do I want it here? I'm not sure. I moved it up from where it was before. I'm gonna have to come back to this tomorrow. I'm making progress, but it's not like a linear, oh, now it's working. It's like a figure it out kind of process. I'm over here in a different area. Why? Because I'm standing up. Also, I want to show you a few things. That was the art. You had the show, the art, and now here's the after show. I returned the punch, and what I got later for much less money was this, plus another thing. Basically, I was just looking around, and there was, like, the vendors I like most are either people that have tons of junky stuff that you can maybe find something that's a little expensive, but it's a little beat up, or, you know, you can find a piece you need, etc. Or people who, like, just cleaned out their basement, or, you know, someone's getting rid of their attic. My least favorite vendors are the ones that are there every single week and have a store, and they're basically going to give you what you see all the time, and it's going to be for basically the price you see all the time. There's no real surprises. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It just isn't exciting. So anyway, I saw a vendor that I had missed that just had piles of, you know, stuff to dig through. This was sitting on right on top, and this is from Turbo Ranger, which is Sentai, which I've said before is Power Rangers, but this is before Power Rangers. There was like something like 14, 16 seasons before, and so this was the car of the main character. Now, I'm not normally a big car person, but it's a cool, like, jet turbo car, and it says Turbo Ranger in English, even though it was never in America. And I was trying to figure out what version it was, and then later on I realized it's actually the part, this was an early Megazord, they called them Robos, and you can see it's the head and chest. Now, I can't build the robot without the rest, but it's, hey, squad goals, right? Now I gotta get the rest. But if I don't, it's still just a cool red card to put on the shelf with my stuff. The other thing I got is this, which looks like a big old nothing. What this is the arm of a carrier Zord. A carrier Zord is a big robot that carries the smaller robots or vehicles. And this was from Turbo, I believe, and it was Artillotron. And I might be wrong about the pronunciation of that. And it turns into a big robot and has these two arms. And it's one that I don't really like very much, to be honest. And it's semi-common, not too expensive, but it's always missing pieces. And they basically had a big chunk of the head in the top part, but not the body, and not the doors, and not the other arm. Why would I want? And it was very sun damaged. Why would I want this? Well, he wanted whatever he wanted, $8, this, that. And I said, would you take, you know, 6 for both? And I said 5 for both, and you could keep that big chunk of the body. I just want the arm. And he said, how about 6 and take the chunk? And I was like, fine. Later on, I took that chunk at the big dog's suggestion and threw it in one of the boxes. Somebody picked it up, and I'm like, $1? And he paid it. So I got this for 5 because I immediately sold the other piece for $1. But I digress. Why do I want an arm of a robot I don't even want? Because another robot I got, actually, at the last toy show, in the show, these arms would come off, fly up, and he'd use them as like gigantic Gatling cannons. Joe. And so now I have one of those to put with that guy. And actually, I'll take a picture and throw it up right here. Joe. G.I. Joe. The other thing I got, and again, all this I ended up spending less than I've spent at any toy show, and so that's good because it helps my profit, even though, as I've said, it's not necessarily the kind of show where profit is the main motivator. And I got this actually from my partner, the big dog. He had an extra. This is what they call Pizza Spider-Man. It's a Spider-Man figure. It's the most recent one, but he's the most well-painted. He's the most well-articulated, and I don't have a good what they call vanilla Spidey. Now, if you notice, he's got his mouth sticking out, but that's because he comes piece of pizza. Hence, Pizza Spidey. As you can see, he's set up so that he could hold the pizza slice. It's like kind of drippy in his hand. It's folded in half, just like a true New Yorker, and chomp. Now, you might be like, well, why do I want a pizza Spider-Man? Well, that's kind of the gimmick. Like, whenever they release a new version of a figure, they'll try to give it a reason why it's different than the others, especially if it's like really just another Spider-Man, and not even like a movie version or whatever. But he does come with his regular Spider-Man head. So basically, it's the pretty much argued or consensus best Spider-Man out right now, and I got the pizza head and some extra hands and stuff, and he gave this to me for a great deal, so I appreciate that. But we're not here to talk about toys. We're not even here to talk about toy shows. We're We're not here about to talk about the Horror A4, the horror. What are you here to talk about? The end of today. The end of today? What's today? Well, today's day 89. Oh, well, if today's day 89, well, that means... Well, we've got 18 days left. That's right, 18 remaining. I'll stay here behind bars where I can... I'm free. I'm free. I'm a liar. I'm a liar with video. I filmed this earlier today. 11 days left. I wonder if there's any outtakes today. Let's find out after the credits. And I got these two kind of junkers. Wow.